About 14 million tons of plastic gets in the ocean every year. That's a lot of plastic.
It affects people's everyday lives. It's affecting our habitats, the wildlife, the oceans too. You find so much. We found a ridiculous amount. It was overwhelming.
Of the year. Our title is have any extra food, share it. So just save it and then share it to shelters.
The main reason we're doing this is because we're trying to help the whole world, not just the town of Bourne, and because there's a lot of other kids out there and families that would really could use the extra food, and it could really help them.
That we did to help with the whole plastic pollution stuff. We spread awareness by we went to the Bourne Middle School and we presented to a few of the classes there. We did a slide presentation, then we played a Kahoot, which they thought it was really fun. It was super engaging for the kids. We also did a road cleanup on Sandwich Road, which I think went really well. There was a lot of trash. We filled a few bags.
We did surveys for the community to see their opinions on it and what we can do to fix the issues. Run around to our local beaches and just places in our community where there is the most trash, and we picked it up and we upcycled it into these.
So we had them do a challenge where they would build trash pick rubbers and scoop them, and then they would do it, and they would just compete against each other, and whoever had the most would win, and they got a prize.
We had a literary challenge, which is an app that all you and your family members, friends can download. Once you're on it, you battle against your friends, and try to pick up as much litter, pollution, everything around your community to help your earth. Once it's all picked up, you can see who will win, and we had a big competition between all the grades, and now we have all that information and all the stats from that, and we're just showing off a survey here.
Another thing is in your daily life, you really don't think about, plastic, but when we went to do the cleanup, we saw a bunch of trash that we haven't seen before, even down people, because people just drove trash out their windows and then it ends up and then the animals eat it and then just it's a cycle.
Our root cause was because people are just being very careless and not really thinking of the outcome and just throwing trash out their window and thinking, oh, it will just wash away or disappear, disintegrate, but it doesn't, and it stays there for years and years.
All these lovely projects. I'd first like to introduce our special guest speaker, Senator Moran, and she's going to give the opening. What a wonderful applause and nice welcome. But I'll tell you, I am the one who feels incredibly special being here because of the uniqueness of Bourne, what you have done as students under the leadership of your teachers and your parents. My daughter taught 4th grade. I have a particular affinity for teachers and what learning means and what it is to be able to pay it forward. And when you look at civics, I don't think there really is anything more fundamental, because you look at it as, in the topics you've chosen, really it thinks about your future. It thinks about your fellow person. I'm so proud. I ran into a gentleman from the Coast Guard, and I was given this fabulous gift, which is a lobster claw keychain. And I will remember this day for that, as well as having looked at your projects in the back. And just a quick minute about what I do. So I am a member of the legislature. There are two branches, as I think some of you have learned. There's the House and the Senate. I ran for Senate to be the senator for Bourne, Falmouth, Sandwich, and 3 towns across the canal, so that I could do my best at helping other people. I had been a select person in Falmouth and really was able to do some clean water initiatives, some traffic initiatives. I worked on the Assembly of Delegates. Of course, I see my partner quietly in the back in his flag shirt, which I really appreciate. And I see a lot of familiar faces. But how do we have a second generation, a next generation of folks who grow up and realize what it is to contribute? I look at the service members in the audience. That's another thing that Bourne is incredibly unique to have. There are service members integrated as such key pieces of our community, so that we can actually know what it's like to see folks in uniform and to be proud of the service that they perform in keeping us safe and in all the interesting projects that they perform. So we look at it going forward as responsibility to community. We look at it as responsibility toward our state, our country, and we look at it really as opportunities. Not just opportunities for jobs, interesting jobs moving forward, but opportunities to make the world a better place going forward. And I want to congratulate each and every one of you for the projects that you've made your own through the leadership of your teachers, who really had the state kind of make this requirement. And typical of Bourne, what they did is they leaned in and they made it the best it could possibly be. So I want to thank you for your efforts. You all deserve an incredible applause, and I want to thank in particular the parents. I understand that we've got a Board of Selectmen, Mary Jane here. It's extra effort. It's one more thing beyond, helping with homework, beyond, sports, beyond assemblies. This is something that clearly the parents have leaned into and supported as well. And you also, everyone in the back here, you look so professional in your incredible outfits, and it just really shows the pride that you have here today. Thanks to Bourne Middle School and everyone involved.
Stuck in traffic. We heard there was some traffic on the other side of the bridge. Shocking. But my name is Sharon Moore, so I'll start. I'm the civics teacher for Team 1. And incorporating these civics action projects into our curriculum has been both challenging and rewarding. Watching our students find their voice and make connections to each other, their teachers, and their community have been perhaps the most beneficial byproducts of this research that we so desperately needed coming off of 2 years of COVID. One of our district's focus this year has been on student voice. Our students were able to use their voices in many different ways, from choosing their research topic, to emailing and interviewing stakeholders in our community, to choosing the action steps to the final result of their project presentations. Individual voices and choices can be found in every step along the way. Then there are those connections that we all have missed these past couple of years. There were some hard first steps for these kids as they had to find their way, combining their ideas for change with people they didn't know. But soon daily check-ins with their groups became the norm, and they adapted to a new way of learning that once was considered the standard pre-COVID. Completing these projects in a group setting had its challenges over these past few months, but these students have risen and met every single one. As their teachers, Mrs. DiBiasio and myself, could not be more proud of these scholars and the work that they present to you today. So thank you.
Taking my glasses off to read as I can't see that well because presenting is not necessarily my favorite thing to do. So good morning, thank you all for coming. This was a fantastic turnout and we are so appreciative of having you all here. We would totally be remiss if we don't say thank you to all the parents and caregivers. There was many of you bringing stuff this morning that your children forgot, which is, part of the parenting. I have 4 girls, so you can imagine how much we run around. The support really means everything to our kids too. They should have a lot of pride because they have worked for the last 3.5 months extremely hard. We've asked a lot of them and they continue to impress us. Special thanks to our administration. Part of the process is for our kids to interview and to email and to do this on their own. So they fielded, Mrs. Bourne and Mr. Lundell fielded a lot of emails and meetings. So we just want to thank you. That was unbelievably important to us and important to the kids. We want to thank our team because we've had panelists come in and a lot of different activities that they also have to kind of give up time and, or win time when they're supposed to be doing something. So they've been so helpful to us. It does take a lot of people to put this all together, and people have totally stepped up for us, and we could not be more thankful. As stated by one of my favorite authors, Annette Gordon-Reed, who published the book on Juneteenth, love does not require taking an uncritical stance towards the object of one's affections. In truth, it often requires the opposite. We can't be of real service to the hopes we have for places and people or ourselves without a clear-eyed assessment of theirs and our own strengths and weaknesses. If not for the strength of early civic activists called abolitionists, such as Frederick Douglass, who escaped slavery and risked his freedom by delivering speeches and writing his own autobiography to raise awareness of the plight of enslaved people, or by William Lloyd Garrison with the use of moral suasion to influence the readers of The Liberator to end slavery, or the work of Harriet Beecher Stowe, who was inspired to write Uncle Tom's Cabin, which opened the eyes of so many Americans to the cruelty of slavery. If it was not for the bravery of President Lincoln to issue the Emancipation Proclamation, which started the path to the end of slavery, and if not for the continued work of civic activists in order to bring about the much belated recognition of Juneteenth that we will celebrate this Monday. Yes, it takes work. It took this long to get a recognition of this holiday. Gordon Reed's quote exemplifies why I chose to come to the middle school. I don't know if you recognize, but I was a history teacher for the longest time, so we embed all of this. The reason I came to start was because civics is so important. This nation is so important to us. And then, of course, teaching kids about the Constitution and the rights that we have, and learning to educate 8th graders, which is different than my high school crew, on how to find their voice, to do the research, to question, even adults, to follow up, to jeopardize the very ideals of what democracy stands for. When I came to the middle school, I ended up getting my partner that trumps all partners. So lucky. Mrs. Moore, this whole project teaches students about playing off each other's strengths. She's such a better presenter than I am. Supporting each other, building each other up, and challenging each other to be our best selves. I've had this with Mrs. Moore. I don't know if your kids tell you, but like we interchange between classes back and forth and back and forth. So they get the benefit of 2 teachers. Because Mrs. Moore is so good at certain things that coming from the high school, it's not my strength. And then I have other things that I can bring to the table that build Mrs. Moore as well and her students. And it has been, this has happened because of having a great partnership. At the end of the day, I got a new amazing friend. So this year, Mrs. Moore and I have teamed up with all our students to make sure they have a clear idea about the rights and responsibilities of all Americans, the privileges that they have because they are in America. This Civic Action Project teaches our kids about what it is to give real service to our nation, our state, our town, our community, and especially our schools. Students were tasked at taking a clear look at their strengths and weaknesses, as well as where they could make improvements in their schools and communities. They began to question how they could have better representation for students in their school, how to better deal with food waste, or how to help curb pollution in our town. Students had to challenge themselves not to give up when they got their first no, or a couple of non-responses. They even had to regroup if their main goal had fallen through. Students will show you today that they have learned that it takes time, it takes effort, and strong will. Students will show you today that they had some struggles. They were frustrated at times. Maybe they didn't even want to continue the project, I'm not gonna lie. However, you'll see their achievements at every table. You will see their successes, their pride in their presentations. I wish you could have seen them at the intermediate school, those that taught, it was amazing. They had to interview adults, sometimes alone. It's difficult for even adults like us. Students will show you that they are doers, not complainers. They will show you that they know how to research, they can listen, question, and inspire others. Much like our first young person who is going to speak to you today, MiKayla Noonan.
Hi everyone, my name is MiKayla and I'm an 8th grader in Miss Moore's class. This project has been a whirlwind. Things were thrown at me that I didn't expect, time seemed to slip away, and hard truths had to be recognized. There have been so many twists and turns that have made the road not only interesting but difficult as well. I know you've all experienced this differently. That might have even been part of the challenge as well as a learning experience. I've discovered things about myself and the world that we live in that causes me disturbance but also inspiration. The impact that we have is incredibly significant, and that is something we can never forget or take for granted or discard as unimportant. I remember earlier on in the project, my group wanted to have a student representative on the board that decided the food provider. The idea was that if we had a student voice, then we could figure out a different company that better fit the wants and needs of the students. Shortly after we had begun to work on this, an email was sent out saying that our current food provider had already been reviewed and recommended for the new contract. We had missed our chance to accomplish our goal. Our group had to quickly come up with another plan of action. The idea of a student lending an opinion on our school meals stayed, but we had to adjust the way that it would look. Our goal shifted into having a student help decide meals instead of deciding the meal provider. Recently, with help from my teachers, we found some information that I thought could really help us accomplish our goal and improve the quality of our food. When I sat down to talk with Miss Morning and Miss Berry about my findings, we realized that some of what I thought could serve us well was really just a dead end. Despite that, they provided me with names and suggestions on how to further accomplish our objective. All of the roadblocks that have been presented have led us down a different path that have had its own set of challenges and benefits. As a result, I have learned how to embrace change and develop new plans. The surprising obstacles have taught me to persevere and keep trying. I now know that when one door is closed, another opens, ready to lead us to new ideas. We have been working on this project since the end of February. It's been a very intensive project, and we have poured our energy into it for at least 3 months. Our teachers have graciously stood by us and provided us with days throughout our tasks to rest. Even though it may seem like we've had an abundance of time to complete this project and come up with results that reflect the effort we put in, I was feeling somewhat overwhelmed with the nearing deadline. Remember that anxiety of needing to finish everything? Maybe someone in your group wasn't pulling their weight, or perhaps you took on too much. Whatever it was for you, I know how intense that pressure can be. For at least the first month, we had very structured work during class. Complete these pages in your book, do this research, which was necessary for understanding the importance of the project, and it provided us with the needed knowledge to succeed. Although it was helpful, it ate up quite a bit of our time. Managing time has been difficult, seeing as for a while it seemed like we had all the time left. Now here we are at the showcase. We've all come so far, and I am so impressed with the results my classmates have come up with. Learning to manage time has been key, and sometimes it means sacrificing wind blocks or even free time at home in order to complete the necessary work. Along with that, I learned how important teamwork is in order to successfully manage time. One of the more difficult pieces of this project has been self-examination, along with closely examining the rest of the world. Not only did I have to learn about the at times awful impact everyone has, but I had to learn about how I specifically impacted the environment. I recycle, sure, but I don't compost. As a result of this project, getting a compost bin at my house is now something that my family and I are discussing, and hopefully something that we will be able to implement into our lives. I've also learned that our school alone throws away about 6,300 gallons of food waste during the school year. Not only have we learned about our effects on the environment in civics class, but we've also learned about it in science. I'm sure you all remember that. Thanks to the information we were taught, I have been able to understand the effects that our actions have on the environment. When food goes to the dump, it produces methane, which is a leading contributor to climate change. If we reduce the amount of food that goes into landfills, then we are simultaneously reducing the amount of methane produced. In order to create change, we have to be able to acknowledge the part that we play in the issue, and this project has taught me how to do just that. I am so thankful for the opportunity to participate in this project. I hope that my experience and the experiences of my classmates will inspire each of you to consider the ways that you can help our environment. If you take time to look at my classmates' project, so many wonderful and creative ideas will present themselves to you. We and we alone are responsible for the state of our planet. We can no longer ignore the issues and pass them off as something of the future. These things are here, and I am grateful that I have begun to learn about them so that I am capable of making a difference. I have learned how to deal with curveballs, how to manage time, and how to recognize difficult but important truths. All of these things have helped me and my peers to flourish through the Civic Action Project. I want to tell you all how impressed I am with your dedication to the project and the outcomes that reflect your efforts. I'm also incredibly thankful for Ms. D and Ms. Moran and all the other members of the community who have helped us through this. It would have been so much more problematic without all of the help and guidance you have given us. Through this project, I have been taught that I'm not too small and my ideas are not too minuscule to matter. Our voice matters. We are capable of creating change. Exercise the power that you have, and you can establish a new way of undertaking issues that present themselves. I hope that this project will impact all of you in significant ways, just like it has impacted me. Thank you all so much for being here and listening to me. Please enjoy the showcase, and it is my hope that you leave here knowing a little more than you did when you entered.
Hello, my name is Zoe and I'm a student in Mrs. D's Civic class. The Civic Action Project has been a long, fun, and sometimes crazy ride, but I'm incredibly grateful to have been a part of it. This project has had a pivotal impact on me as I am learning to become an independent student and realize that my voice matters. I found that I wanted to do my project on the importance of composting, and from doing this, I've been lucky enough to acquire new skills that will stay with me throughout my life. From these skills, I've been able to conquer some of my fears and make eye-opening discoveries about myself. This project has also helped me to become more aware of the place that we all call home. Over the course of the last 4 months, I've developed skills that will help me throughout my education and later in life. I've learned how to write convincing essays and pitch my ideas to fellow classmates and teachers, and that will be helpful in the workforce. In the middle of my project, my research skills were heightened as well as my ability to take notes. This research process has led me to develop interview skills that I will need in the future for college and jobs. I have also learned just how crucial communication skills are. During the project, I found myself stuck because I wasn't receiving responses that were needed, or I didn't know how to communicate what I needed. Learning how to give clear directions to others in my group was something I had to quickly learn. Time management was also something I had to learn how to achieve. Without time management skills, I don't think I would have finished the project. Gaining and enhancing these skills will allow me to thrive in life. I can use my skills in work and school as well as a way of expression. There have been many instances where I had to conquer my fear while working on the project. I know I'm not alone when I say that I was always self-conscious and nervous to ask for help. The Civic Action Project taught me to ask for help without feeling the need to apologize for it. I'm so grateful for the teachers I have who helped me to feel safe asking questions and allowing me to dig deeper. When we first started the project, I was typically shy around large crowds, and I would usually opt out of public speaking. However, I told myself I was going to try to step out of my comfort zone on this project, and let me tell you, I definitely did. It started with interviews. I've never been one to conduct interviews, but I became confident enough to sit down with someone and ask them questions. This seemed a little less scary, as I was only talking to one person and not in front of a ton of people. When it came to public speaking, I'll admit it terrified me. I'm one to always rush and not be clear when I'm speaking, so I thought that speaking in front of others would make it worse. I was asked to present a short slide in the school committee about the project, and I was incredibly anxious about it. With the encouragement of my phenomenal teachers, I was able to publicly speak. Today, I'm still trying to get over this fear, but doing it over the course of the project has helped me to become more comfortable with it. When I began the project, I would never have imagined I'd be giving a speech in front of all my peers and meeting members, but today I'm more confident and comfortable with public speaking because of the project, even if I am still nervous. Taking action in this project has impacted my view of personal responsibility. I found an interest in the environment and climate change. Specifically, I've developed a love for trying to solve environmental issues that I wouldn't have previously noticed. Discovering a new field has presented me with so many questions and ideas, and with having all these questions that I wanted answered, I had to learn that I'm allowed to ask questions and think and speak up for what I think the answer is. In prior years, I wouldn't have felt as secure standing up for what I think is right, but I have learned and been taught that I should not be ashamed to do the right thing. This project required us to work in groups, and I'm fully aware that when I work in groups, I tend to lose my patience quicker, and I'm sure the members of my group will notice that too. However, I've enjoyed working in a group because it has provided me with the opportunity to learn from others and receive valuable feedback. I'm very lucky to have been part of a successful group, and I learned how to work collaboratively, and I enjoy being part of a fun and sometimes chaotic group. In the future, I hope they'll have a more positive attitude towards group work because of this project. Our project centers around land, waste, and cleanup, and because of this, I've become so much more aware of my surroundings. During the research portion of this project, I learned about some very intriguing and devastating facts. I came across information explaining how detrimental food waste can be to the environment. This information has had an immense impact on me. I started to think about how I can reduce my amount of waste in my day-to-day life. This information has also led me to research more about our changing planet and how we affect it. I cannot tell you how many times I've thought back to the project when I've thrown out a piece of food or I've seen litter on the streets. So yes, this project has had an impact on me. Taking part in this wonderful project has given me the ability to learn new skills and improve old ones. And yes, I faced some of my fears by doing this project, and now I continue to face my fears because I've learned that I don't have to do it alone. I've been given the opportunity to ask important questions that have changed my way of thinking, and from asking these questions, I've discovered new passions of mine. I can also say that I now see things in a new way. Before this project, I wouldn't have thought about my leftovers or how not eating a piece of fruit can cause damage to the environment. Now, I recognize little things that I do that I once would have paid no attention to. My experience with the 8th grade Civic Action Project has been very beneficial, and I'm extremely grateful to have been a part of it.
Where your projects are and parents.
I'm Abigail Smith. I'm Isabella Yuri. Our project for our Civics Action is upcycling. We've been working on it for 3 months now. We had a lot of fun about it. We're having a lot of fun.
Hi, I'm Sophie Palmer, and this is my Civics Action Project on recycling. There was a lot of steps to this project. It was hard at some parts, but it's all worth it. Getting to teach people about recycling.
Hi, I'm Ainsley Hogwood.
I'm Paige Delancey.
I'm Noah Tima. And I'm MiKayla Muldoon. And for our Civics Action Project, we decided to do littering and upcycling. Our objective for this project was to
was to present to the 6th grade and educate them on how littering is affecting our community and how upcycling is a great way to reduce that.
For the action we took, we went around to our local beaches and just places in our community where there is the most trash, and we picked it up and we upcycled it into these.
The majority of these things are made out of plastic bottles or some kind of bottle like cardboard and glass. We made flowers out of everything in the back here, and in the front row we made these out of cherries and marshmallow sauce and Nutella. This one's my favorite because it's very colorful, and we did some of the applesauce containers and potato salad just so we can make things more useful, and we did this all last night, so it's something that we can do to help our community. We decided to do upcycling for our project because trash is slowly killing the animals and in our community in general, and it's slowly killing our earth. Upcycling is a great, efficient way to reduce trash in the community and help out in the environment.
Thank you. For our root cause, we found that it was uneducatedness. Like people aren't educated enough on the topic of upcycling or just littering in general. So that's why we wanted to educate the 6th grade and just lazy people who don't like care enough to pick up trash they pass by or just to pick up anything in general. So
Hi, I'm Sophia Hallinan.
I'm James Cole.
And we're at the Civic Action Showcase, and these are both of our projects. That's his and this is mine.
So mine was about litter, and we went to the BIS school, and we explained to them what the dangers of littering are and the pollution problems. So we had them do a challenge where they would build trash pick rubbers and scoop them, and then they would do it, and they would just compete against each other, and whoever had the most would win, and they got a prize.
My project is we're off doing pollution. We had a literary challenge, which is an app that all you and your family members, friends can download. Once you're on it, you battle against your friends, and try to pick up as much litter, pollution, everything around your community to help your earth. Once it's all picked up, you can see who will win, and we had a big competition between all the grades. And now we have all that information and all the stats from that, and we're just showing off a survey here for anybody that comes to our table.
Hi, I'm Sean Kelly, and I was a part of the litter group for this Civic Action Project for Mrs. Moore's class, and we had the 3rd graders at Bourne Middle School make these little trash pick rubbers for a safe way to pick up the trash that they may see around town, and basically it gets them to basically be more observative about trash around and try to help the community as much as they can.
Hello, my name is Maxwell Beals.
I'm Angie Placentino.
I'm Madison Church.
I'm Kylie Holmes.
Hi, I'm Ella Eisen, and for my Civic Action Project, I did littering. Our objective for our project was to spread awareness through social media platforms to educate kind of the younger audience so they have a better understanding. The issue is the litter is there's so much of it, and it's ruining animals' habitats and the planet overall. And our root cause is because people are just being very careless and not really thinking of the outcome and just throwing trash out their window and thinking, oh, it will just wash away or disappear, disintegrate, but it doesn't, and it stays there for years and years. The action we took was by actually creating an Instagram to spread awareness. The result of our action is posting every day and making more people educated about the issue. And another step we took was surveying people to kind of see what they think, and some of the responses were kind of like crazy, knowing that some of these people didn't know this. For our Instagram, we went with humor and different pictures to kind of make people more interested in learning about the topic. And then we have some examples of animals that these animals' habitats are being ruined.
My name is Ty Hawks. Our group project for the Civic Action is rainwater collection. Our goal right now is to collect rainwater off our roofs and our gutters and use them to irrigate our fields and plants here at the school. So far, what we've done is we've taken barrels from here, put them in the courtyard, and started to collect rain and irrigate the fields with pumps. Our long goal is to get larger systems inside the school and use them to irrigate our sports fields right outside. And that's really all we have to do.
I'm Jalen Bullock.
I'm Bella Wolf.
I'm Ava Lux. And I'm Lima Tahir. So
we made a book for little children to just educate them on the issue of food waste. And we presented to 5th graders, we presented to Miss Eldridge's class about food waste and why it's an issue and what they can do to help it.
Hi, I'm Brian Gulovich, and this is Ashley Comstock, and we did our project on water pollution. Our objective was to bring awareness about water pollution and the effects on the teachers and adults in our community. And our steps were we created surveys for the community to see their opinions on it and what we can do to fix the issues. And we conducted interviews for teachers. We created a slideshow and we presented it to all the faculty at our school. And that's a picture from when we presented to our faculty. And then we got a petition to ban water bottles in Moran, which we're still working on to get signatures. And then we did a presentation at the faculty meeting after we made the slideshow, and we gave the petition to any teachers that wanted to sign it. And then we narrowed down our issue to cause of disposal of trash and beach littering. And some facts are that beluga whales are the most endangered caused by water pollution and human activity. And yeah.
We interviewed some teachers, and this is one of the quotes from Mr. Reynolds. He's a 7th grade history teacher. These are some of our survey results. As you can see, there's not a lot of people got this question right, which was surprising. I didn't think people were going to get that one right, but that's it.
My name is Elizabeth Clark, and I did my project on composting. I started a composting club a couple of weeks ago, and since there's no more Mondays in the school year, our last week was yesterday. Sadly, we did not have any members, but it was very fun.
Hi, my name is Atlas, and my group is doing plastic pollution. And
hi, my name is Lori, and I'm 8th grade, and I'm doing plastic pollution.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and yet again, plastic pollution.
We're very excited to be here, and we're very grateful to our teachers, Mr. DiBiasio and Ms. Moore. It's very exciting. We've been doing this for a couple months, and I'm very glad to be here. And this is our stuff. We've been doing this for a long time, and yeah, we just want to spread awareness. That's our goal. Because plastic pollution is a very bad thing, and we do not want that at all.
A few things that we did to help with the whole plastic pollution stuff. We spread awareness by we went to the Bourne Middle School and we presented to a few of the classes there. We did a slide presentation, then we played a Kahoot, which they thought it was really fun. It was super engaging for the kids. We also did a road cleanup on Sandwich Road, which I think went really well. There was a lot of trash, we filled a few bags. And we also have an Instagram at DiBiasio Plastic Awareness, and we post a lot on there about stuff we do, like our Civic Action Project. And
well, I enjoyed picking up plastic when we went to do the cleanup. It was fun to kind of see what was buried in the ground, and felt nice to pick up all the stuff and clean it off of the street. Not the street, the grass,
Plastic pollution is definitely a problem. It affects people's everyday lives. It's affecting our habitats, the wildlife, the oceans too. You find so much. We found a ridiculous amount. It was overwhelming. And it's just a big problem. And I think we can definitely make a difference though, which is what we're trying to do with this whole thing.
It's called Ban the Bottle, and as you can see here, we have some charts to show you the pollution and the amount of plastic that gets into the ocean. About 14 million tons of plastic gets in the ocean every year. That's a lot of plastic. And we make 23 million tons of plastic each year. So that's 230 million tons of plastic. That's a lot of plastic getting into the ocean. And that affects the animals and that affects our community. So what we have here, it is a petition to ban single-use plastic bottles in Bourne. So you will no longer be able to buy single-use plastic bottles in stores. But I know it sounds bad, but there's always reusable, there's metal, and it benefits us and our environment. So that's word.